remember that just because something is doesn't mean it can't change. And just because you haven't seen something before, that doesn't mean it's impossible.
Bars. I thought about how the world can be anything and how sad it is that it's this.
Yep.
Yep.
Hello, welcome.
It's tome time.
I'm Brendan,
I'm Bridget.
and we're gonna convince your ass to read Chain Gang All Stars by Nane Kwajme Brennan. Yeah,
Nana Kwame Ajabrenya.
thank you.
You're welcome.
um,
Listen,
this book is 5 out of 5 stars.
which is saying something. Brendan basically never rates a book 5.
Nope. As I
Um,
think is the only book I've rated 5 in the past 2 years.
wow, that's wild. I personally, I think if at this point you are a reader and you haven't read this book, I don't know where you've been.
Yeah. Can we hit a brief synopsis? Do you want to
Oh,
like
yeah.
see what it says on Goodreads?
Let's get you a brief synopsis. Okay. Two top women gladiators fight for their freedom within a depraved private prison system not so far removed from America's own. Loretta Thurwar and Hamara Hurricane Stacker are the stars of Chain Gang All Stars, the cornerstone of Cape or criminal action penal entertainment, a highly popular, highly controversial, profit raising program in America's increasingly dominant private prison industry. It's the return of the gladiators, and prisoners are competing for the ultimate prize, their freedom.
Bum bum bum.
It goes crazy.
Yeah, I want to maybe start with like who what kind of reader? I mean, I feel like everybody could like enjoy this book, but who if you like this book, you'll like this book. Is what I'm trying to say. Like what
Yeah.
if you've read this, you will probably like this.
So I feel like the teenagers that read The Hunger
That
Games
is
growing up,
exactly what I wrote.
yeah, if you read The Hunger Games, you enjoyed The Hunger Games, and you understand, especially now as an adult, the themes
Hmm.
of The Hunger Games, this is a book you will love.
Yep. I wrote Hunger Games and then Red Rising, specifically book 1, Red Rising.
Yes, for sure. For sure, for sure.
Yeah. Um, what is it about this book that makes you love it so much?
Um, well, first of all, I personally was really, really drawn to this style, his style of writing in
Hmm.
particular. Um, in that, I don't know how to explain this correctly, but this author, this is the only novel he's written, and um, from what I've heard him talk about, his preference for himself is short story. He likes
Right.
the the ability to not just like write a story, but use the words to create sound, if that makes sense,
Yeah.
in the same way that people who write poetry do.
Right.
And so that really came across to me when reading this book, in that even like the way that he would structure some of the chapters, like
Yeah.
moving from one to the next to the
Yeah. Yeah.
next, was more than just like writing a plot. It was
Sure.
like building almost like music, like it had a flow to it, if
It's
that makes sense.
very unique prose, and you can
Very.
tell that it's very like um on purpose,
Yeah, yeah, intentional.
intentional. Thank
Mhm.
you.
You're welcome. Yeah.
I am much dumber than you,
Wow.
and
I don't think that's true.
m- the biggest thing for me about this book um is the characters are so very real
Mhm.
in this book. There's a lot of obviously there's a lot of violence in this book. There's like a lot of conflict, but the dialogue just seems very real. Like when they're interacting with the other prisoners and they're like telling jokes and stuff. It's like it seems like if there were existed in real life, this is how she would be
Yeah.
acting. Um, and just like the character development is
Crazy.
obviously
Yeah.
crazy because I mean I can't really spoil anything because we're trying to convince you to read this book, but some of the most like fleshed out um, like conflicted and like interesting characters
Yeah.
and some of the most like heart pumping action in this
Yeah.
book. Like it starts out with a scene that's like brutal
Yeah.
and I'm a big dumb sword enjoyer, so it really hits.
There are cool they get cool weapons in this
Yeah.
one. That's part of the bit.
Yeah.
Because they're performing it for entertainment's sake,
Yeah, so
they kind of get cool stuff.
not only is it like the gladiator matches that are on TV, but they're also like being filmed basically 24/7.
Mhm.
There's like so like Chain Gang All Stars is like a show, right?
Yep. Yep.
And there's also like other talk shows that talk about Chain Gang All Stars, so it makes like a very interesting like plot point and like conflict for the characters where they have to dance around the fact that
Their life
millions
is
of people are watching them
yeah.
at all times.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
Very interesting. And then this way that they have to almost like build a persona
Yeah,
to be perceived the way that they want to be. It's
right.
just really
Yeah,
very interesting.
yeah,
Yeah, I agree on that front. I loved the characters in this story. Um, and I also I mean they put them in chain gangs essentially, like they're
yes.
grouped, right?
Mhm.
By in these different groups based off of the prisons that they come from or
Yeah,
like the prison system that owns them
right.
kind of. And so it's interesting to watch them kind of like form bonds, even though they also know that inevitably, if they're going to be free, they have to kill each other. And
Mhm.
it's interesting. It's really interesting to read
Excuse me.
about.
Yeah, and then besides all of that, obviously there's a like very large overarching theme.
Yes,
This book
obviously.
has um footnotes
Oh,
with like facts that support certain parts of what Aja is talking about, which for me was really cool.
it was
I
really
liked it a
cool.
lot.
Yeah, this is um I watched a lot of interviews of Ajay
Yeah,
talking about his book over the past few days. And one of the things that I thought was really interesting is that he said before he wrote this book, he didn't know that he would consider himself an abolitionist.
right.
Um,
Speaking about the prison industrial complex, right?
yes, and also just in general death penalty,
Oh, right.
right?
I forgot that. Yeah.
And
Sorry, I forgot the death penalty was legal for a second there.
yeah,
That's
Idaho's back to
my
a
bad,
firing squad.
everybody.
Anyway, so he said that this book, kind of taught him that he absolutely was,
Yeah,
and like a major question that he had to grapple with was like, is every human life worth it?
yeah.
Like worth saving, worth something,
And
right?
you're talking about him. He's saying not the part about him writing the fictional story, but him like doing research for his story is what made him an abolitionist.
No, he's saying he before he even wrote it, like the process of writing the story
Right.
is what convinced him. Yes, actually, I know for certain that I am an abolitionist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm okay. Whatever.
What?
Yeah. I guess I'm questioning is because obviously he did a bunch of research for this
Yeah,
book.
I think he worked on it for like 5 years or something.
Yeah. So I was just saying like him doing that research is probably what convinced him more
Oh,
than
yeah,
like him writing about these characters he's
sure.
made up.
Yeah, that's fair. Um, anyway, so he is talking about, whether or not he thinks people are deserving of life. And if they are, what does that mean about how he should feel about himself? And I thought that that was a really cool and introspective point for him to bring up. Because in the end, the theme of the book, I mean, it doesn't take you long to understand what the theme of the book is.
Right.
um, but it's very, very much anti death penalty, anti anti the commercialization of the penal
Pri-
system and
Private
yeah,
prisons,
yeah.
all of that.
So
Yeah, I like the footnotes. It made it feel more real to me.
I
Like
agree.
reading a thing that happened and then reading like this actually happened in real life, or
Yeah,
this happens now in real life.
right.
So
Yeah, along with the characters being really, really real, I think it is easy to see when you read the story how something this insane could truly happen. Like it's not that
very
crazy to imagine this is
yeah,
the real world.
yeah.
So,
Um, just yeah, one more thing about that is you not only get prisoners' point of views, but there's also people outside of prison who are consume like the content of like Changing All Stars, and you get to see different points of view on that, which
Hmm.
really makes the world feel real.
Real. Yeah,
Yeah.
agreed.
Anything else in closing that you'd like to say for people
In
to read this
closing,
book?
the only thing I will add is that I know that there are some people that don't like to read books if there's no romantic relationships. And this is me telling you, there are,
Yeah,
okay?
and it's a really
And
good
it's
one.
really good. So
Yeah.
if that hasn't sold you, you have, I don't know, no ears or something.
Yeah. Um, I think I just want to say that you shouldn't be scared of the overarching theme.
Yeah, agreed.
Like it is very you're not going to miss what he's trying to say, but it doesn't take away from the characters like it never feels like you're hearing like you're listening to him preach about something.
No,
Like it just
yeah,
like it makes sense in world. Like I feel like one of the reasons I love the story is because of the theme and but it stands on its own legs as a
yeah,
good fictional
absolutely.
story.
It's just good writing in general.
Yes.
Yeah, agreed.
So your dumbass should read it.
Hopefully, we've convinced you.
Thank you for watching.
Bye.
Bye.